Abu Shaha, trouble. I came to cause trouble. When I entered church today, I thought my topic was going to be do it now, but I heard it. You actually mentioned my topic today. It was confirmed by Jimmy, and the topic of today is called Voice It Out. Have you ever seen a mango tree that eats its fruit? Your fruit is not meant for you. It is meant for the world. Mango trees do not eat mango. They produce fruits that people pay for. Your fruit is not meant for you. Fishes don't go to school to learn to swim. There is no dog that went to university to learn to bark. Everything that will make you who you are is already inside you. All you need to do is to voice it out. Are you hearing me? When you find your fruit and you ripen it, people will pay money for it. Until you find it, you will still be in that face me, I slap you out. Tell them, say, we die here today. Let's go to the beginning. How many of you would like to be successful in this life? I need to see with a show of hands. When you are in school, as a student, during the exam time, they will give you a form. Next slide. On that question paper, they will tell you maybe Faculty of Management and Social Sciences, Department of Economics and Business Administration, course title, Corporate Finance, course code, maybe BOS 408. Then duration 45 minutes. Then there's an instruction that says a total of 5 questions must be properly answered out of 8 questions, given with supportive proof, cases and diagrams. Answer question 1, 40 marks, and 4 others. A young man did this exam and then he was sure he had passed. Then the next day, he got a script and the script was failed. Next slide. So he contested it and then he went to his dean and then they reported and they went to Senate. Senate summoned everybody. They faced a panel and then they brought out his script. His script, he saw he answered question 2 well, question 3 well, question 4 well, question 5 well, question 6 well. And he saw that he got everything. How come they are giving him failure? Please go back to the slide again. Yes. The instruction says answer question 1. Question 1 carries 40 marks. Question 2 carries 5 marks. That next slide again. Your ignorance to an instruction does not exonerate you from the consequences there. Life has instruction. Next slide. There is a saying that says there is no smoke without fire. Every time you see smoke, know that there is fire somewhere. It is not the fire that kills. The fire burns, but the smoke is what kills you. In this country right now, even in this state, everywhere, there's so much smoke, but yet we believe that that is where the problem is. What is the smoke? Next slide. You have sea robbery, you have illegal bunkering, you have all terrorism, you have kidnap and ransom, you have yahoo, you have cultism in school. Everything you see there is smoke. So where is the real fire? Next slide there. He said during political campaigns, they mobilize students here. They will ginger you, mobilize you, 2,000 naira, come and vote for me. So you mobilize your teams from your different school, and then you pack yourself in buses, go and ginger, vibrate, even fight each other, break somebody's head. And after you mobilize, they give you 2,000 naira as the mobilization fee. You go to your house. After 4 years, they mobilize you again. So what they didn't tell you did not hear, or let me tell you again, is that if they pay you 2,000 naira, 4 years, 2,000 naira, your value as a human being in 1 year is 500 naira. Now, if 500 naira is your value in 1 year, that means in 1 month, your value is 41 naira 67 kobo. So if we look at you again with your full submission as a man, your value in 1 day is 1 naira 39 kobo only. So when you begin to mobilize yourself like that, you send people to go to the House of Assembly. You send people to go to the Senate. Who has mobilized you to go there? What do they come on? Next slide. They begin to fight every single day, fight every single way. Before you know, somebody's carrying the Senate stick and beating somebody here. And then they now say that we are thugs, not knowing that they are political avengers. Because Thanos has to die, you know. Then when you have this kind of leaders here, what happens is that when they go for campaigns or different meetings outside this country, they begin to talk anyhow. They are not able to communicate well. They are not able to talk legibly. Next slide. Then before you know what is happening, people are saying that Nigerian youths are lazy. So we got up one day and said, we deserve some accolade. So the social media went agog. People were saying, no, I am a youth, I perform well, so I deserve some accolade. How many of you do deserve some accolade here? I hear you. Next slide there. Let me take you to some history. In 1960, when Nigeria was handed over from colonial masters, we were actually 46 million people in the country. The people that colonized us were 52 million, so there were 6 million people ahead of us. But in 2015, the population of the UK that colonized us was 62 million, but Nigeria became 185 million. So within 55 years, our population had grown by 129 million. We were giving birth to children like recharge cards, dropping children, buy one, get 4 free. And every single day, people in Sokoto are giving birth to 40, dashing them like recharge card. In Calabar, you have like a man who give birth to 8 children, name them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, public holiday. He will name them like that. It's common news. It's common news. Now, next slide then. I read a report that the UN has said that the population of Nigeria by 2050 will become 350 million. I argued this. I said we can't be giving birth to children like that. And I was arguing it with so much venom because we cannot be the 7th most popular. There are countries that are more populous than us. And I saw newspaper January 2nd, 2018. Next slide. That the number of children that were born on January 1st in one day were 20,210 children were born in one day. These were children that were born in the hospital, not the one that were born in churches, not the one that were born in the villages, the one that were registered, not the one that they were born abroad and they brought them in. We are talking about children that were born in the hospital. So I did my calculation. If in one day 20,210 children were born, then in 1 year they would have 7 million children was added to our population in 2018. And people were arguing with me, and I said between 2018 and 2050 are 33 years. So if in 1 year we get back to 7.3 million children, that means in 33 years there will be 422 million people on this earth in Lagos, in Nigeria. And I was looking at it, that if we are complaining that the traffic in the country is bad, wait for 2050. But that was not what disturbed me. It was what happened in Geneva in 2018. That Jack Ma, next slide, said that we are competing against robots. That your children are not competing against themselves. That by 2030, that 800 million jobs will be taken from the system. Now, I was a bit confused about that. He says that, look, machines have taken over. You have machines now. I don't need to get anything now because work is getting expired as we speak. Now, my uncle, next slide, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, is the vice president of UAE. I claim the man as my uncle. He's my uncle. I claim him. The man said in 2017, I put up a tweet that he was going to appoint a minister for new ministers. By 3 p.m. he sent out that tweet, and by 5 p.m. the list of new ministers were out. And that list of new ministers, one boy, his name is next slide, Oman Bil Sultan Al Olama, 27-year-old boy, was made the Minister of Artificial Intelligence. What was his job description? To plan how Dubaians will build houses in planet Mars in 2117, 100 years in advance. Their problem was not the next election. Their problem was the next generation. Now, the man Mohammed bin Rashid is 64 years old. There is no way the man will survive 164 years. This boy is 27. He is not going to live 100 years. So they are not thinking of today. They are thinking of tomorrow. A good man, if any man is called a good man, you must leave an inheritance for your children's children. Am I communicating? How many of you like cars here? Cars. I love cars. My friend, his name is Elon Musk. He's the one. I like people. I claim them. He will be my friend. Elon Musk created this car. South African boy. Was born in 1971. Now, this boy is from South Africa but lives in the US. He created this car called the Tesla Model. Why? What was his origin? Because they said that the ozone layer it was opening up too much and there was a lot of carbonation. So to deal with that, they are not going to make cars that will be using fuel anymore. They use electricity. So the front here, there is no engine. It doesn't use fuel. So what does that mean? That if your budget, your plan is to go into oil and gas in 20 years, I'm very sorry. We will not use oil and gas in 20 years for cars. Now, because people are thinking solution, they are thinking solution. And one of the things he said, next slide, is that living in planet Mars is the easy part. He has already tried it. He launched a rocket, and inside that rocket, he put his car in there. That is the car that's flying in planet Mars in the whole world right now. And then he wrote it on the scripture, made by human beings. In case there is an argument in future, he put it there, and he wrote that made by human beings. This boy is 46 years old. How old are you? How many lions do we have in here? The lion is the Panthera leo. I love the African lion. One of the things about the lion which makes me always excited is that if you go to any competition, the lion will never win any single one. The lion is not the tallest animal in the jungle. The lion is not the fastest animal in the jungle. The lion is not even the biggest animal in the jungle. The lion is not the most intelligent animal in the jungle. Am I communicating with you? So if the lion is not the tallest, if the lion is not the biggest, if the lion is not the fastest, if the lion is not the strongest, what excuse do you have to tell me that you are going to fail? The lion has only one thing, and that is the attitude to win. Because when a lion wakes up and he looks at an elephant, he says, this one is food, and he will go to eat it. He thinks whatever it thinks, it attacks. But meanwhile, when an elephant sees a lion, it runs away. But meanwhile, if the elephant should step on the lion, it would disconfigure the body. But because it knows it in his mind, he has configured that it's going to eat him, so he runs away. People behave the way they think. For as a man thinketh, so he is. So when we were born as endangered species. Your parents did not tell you the truth. They didn't tell you the scars that they had on their faces, all the marks there. We were born endangered. And I'll explain that in slides to come. Next slide. I was reading one day that Nigeria's population is 180 million, with ethnic groups of 250, 500 languages, Hausa, Yoruba, Igbos, and everything. 45% Christian, 45% Muslim, 10% African traditional religion. It is stated that only 50 million people are working. So if there are 180 million people and then 50 million people, the dependency ratio is 3 to 1. That's for everybody that is working. You have to feed 3 people, your mother, your cousin, your cousin's baby. The report has said that 75% of Nigeria are youth under 45. Every single person here, excluding 3 or 4 people, are all under 45. So when I did my maths, if there are 180 million, that is the number of youth are 135 million people. The report also says that 45% of these youth cannot be employed. That means 62.5 million people cannot be employed. Until I saw what the UN posted, that the number of Nigerians are 201 million youth. So what we are talking about, 67.835 youth cannot be employed because they don't have skill. Not education, skill. Let me take it a little deeper. I'm from Akwa Ibom State. Proudly Nigerian. I love that state. The state has 31 local government, 119 clans, 2,664 villages. Bordered to the north by Abia. Here, we are just on the end of this road. Is Akwa Ibom State here. Now, west by Cross River, east River State, and the south, the Gulf of Guinea. 13.4% of the coastline of Nigeria is Akwa Ibom State. Please stay with me on that information. Now, at a certain point, our GDP was $13.37 billion, equivalent of 2.49 trillion naira. Yet, there are no industries in Akwa Ibom State. Now, in 2006, the number of people in Akwa Ibom State were 3.9, but by 2015, we were 5.2, meaning that in 9 years, our population increased by 35%. And I keep telling people that the men were overworking. Next slide there. Now, and I found out that 64% of the Akwa Ibom people are youth. Meanwhile, look at it. What do they have there? They have just civil civil service there, and civil service jobs, judiciary. They don't have real jobs in that place. So if I check the number of jobs that are there, in the civil service, next slide there are 17,233 jobs in the judiciary, civil service, in the House of Assembly, all the parastatals. Then you have maybe Mobile, you have all these small banks. Put them all together, they don't have up to 40,000 jobs. So if there are 20,000 in the civil service jobs and then 40,000 in the private sector, total is 60,000. So if there are 60,000 jobs in a population of 5.2 million people, so the dependency ratio is 1 to 88. For every man that is working, 88 people have to depend on him. That is why, next slide, you have anarchy, people joining cults, people doing every single thing. Now, child hawking, vandalism, prostitution is on the high. And I asked myself that when I was in school, people used to label me. They said I should name the part of a grasshopper, name the part of this thing. And I labeled all those parts, and I failed a lot. And I asked myself that who grasshopper head? Who grasshopper head? That instead of teaching me biology, why didn't you teach me monecology? There is actually a course they call numismatology, the study and the collection of money. How come they did not put that in my course? Numismatology, the study and the collection of money. I had to learn the next thing. I had to start learning skills. Next slide. I had to learn soft skills, how to talk, how to communicate, how to relate. This is what you need to start doing now. Next slide. Because even some of you that are graduating, some of you are doing your NYSC, very soon you'll be doing your passing out parade. What next after this? A young girl graduated from the university. 5 years after, she was looking for a job, no job. Then she now went and met a friend. Her friend said, there is a Baba in town. Let us go and talk to this Baba. This Baba can predict the future. So she went to the Baba. The Baba brought out two calabashes. He said, one, there's black chalk here, there's white chalk here. That if you put, there's a millipede that they will put there. And when they beat the drum, if the millipede enters into the circle with the black chalk, know that your future is bad. If it enters into the circle with the white chalk, know your future is okay. So they started playing the drum, and the millipede began to move towards the circle with the white chalk. Everybody was dancing. They were excited. They were moving, and they were playing the drums faster. The millipede was moving faster. Just at the edge of entering into the circle with the white chalk, the millipede changed his mind and started going towards the circle with the black chalk. They thought maybe it was the beat. They stopped playing the music. The millipede was moving faster. The millipede, everybody was looking. Every music stopped. They were looking at the millipede. Just before the millipede entered the circle with the black chalk, the girl stood up, went to the millipede, caught it with her hand, put it in the white circle, and killed the bagger lizard there. Hold it. They asked the girl, why did she do that? The girl said that she cannot be alive and see her future go back. Let me tell you something. The best way for you to predict your future is for you to create it. Say, I hear you. My life took a different turn because I did not know where I was going to. I had only one burning desire. I wanted to take revenge on the man that killed my father. The person that killed my father was my uncle, his senior brother. What was he killing him for? Because of land. My father was 39 years old and he killed my father. No problem. So I began to work. I set myself out to do certain things. I mean, all this life, there were two things that changed me. Listen to me. If you don't take anything, take this next statement from me. Next slide. Once time comes into anything you put, everything changes. Yeah. Until you put time on a project, nothing changes. Time generates direction. Time will cause you to lose friends. Time will teach you to focus. Once you have time, and then the next thing you need is to put a target before you. Put a time, put a target. It will change every distraction in your life. It will end every lack of distraction. It will also enforce direction. So two things decided to move me. Passion and profit. I said, no. I needed to survive. Like Jimmy said, I worked for 15 years for people. I did not start here. I was planted. I went aground. I was buried for years. And at a certain point, it was time for me to go. So I resigned from Excel Management Services. I didn't have HMO. I used to have one BMW that used to drive me because at a particular time, the BM would just stop on its own. And I would look at it, I'll wait for it. It had 14 different spirits. The windscreen was from another car. The radiator radiator was from another car. So anytime one spirit will talk, we will agree. But one agreement we had was anywhere it stopped, let there be water. So at least I can fill the radiator with 8 liters of water. It was not a joke. My landlord wanted to kick me out because he was not sure I could pay for it. And I lost a baby because I could not buy drugs. 6,000 naira because of it. 6,000 naira. Pain is the down payment for gain. Until it pains you, you will not move. Hunger is the gift of God to man. No. So I began, I said, no. I said, okay, let me start a business. So I went to co-locate with one of my friends. I did not know. He said I must pay 80,000 naira a month. I did not know that the rent of the place he was staying was 600,000 naira. Because if you cannot count, you cannot be rich. So I was paying the money. I would give him 80,000 naira a month. He would remove 50,000 for the rent. He had 2 staff. He was paying 10,000 naira. So he would keep 10,000. Light was 5,000 naira and then 5,000 for fuel. I was paying the rent of the place. Until you can count, you cannot be rich. I moved things like that, and I was owing 2 banks at that point in time. That was how I started my life. But passion was everything to me. Passion is what will keep you alive. Passion is what you can wake up at 3 a.m. Mama was asking me, did you sleep? I said, sleep for where? Something that's eating the inside of me. Sleep, wait until I finish this work, because I need to download. I don't want any of you to suffer in this life. What I went through, I don't want you to go through. I want you to know before tomorrow. That's what brought me here, because Pastor Jerry said, come, I have some young people in this place. I am 46 years old. My bones are weak. I can't run too fast like you, and I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made. If somebody had taken time to teach me what I know now, I'd have corrected all the rubbish in my life on time. So I began to feed myself on security. Next slide, I'll go to Ojo Elegba under the bridge, and I'll buy those magazines, 100 naira, 150. I will read security, read it in the morning, read it in the afternoon. I ate it in the morning, ate it in the afternoon, ate it at night. Whatever you eat and you continually eat will eventually eat you up. Security ate me up back to back. And I know that when you walk, there's a time that you need to eat, because, next slide, passion alone cannot do so. Passion without motivation is frustration. So if you have passion, no money is wahala. And I decided, okay, that I needed to start a company. And God had helped me in Psalm 22, verse 1 to 2. David escaped into the camp of Abdullah, and his brethren, those from his father's house, who were distressed, deceased, and discontented. He became their captain. There were 400 of them. That became my HR policy. If you come to work for me, if you have first class, no way. Second class, no way. You must either be in debt, distressed, or discontented. Once you have those things, passion is easy. So I started my company from my bedroom. I started, okay, security, maritime, and logistics. That was it. My first marketing manager was my Nokia 3310. God bless that phone. I love that phone with all my heart. I had 2,500 contacts there, and I would send bulk SMS to people, because sometimes they forgot. Bible says, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy. I said, thou shalt meditate upon it day and night. So every morning I'll send a text to my friend. In the evening I'll send him a text. You remind me, bring forth your strong reason. So I'll remind you, because sometimes your friend may want to go and pay somebody else your money. So remind them. Remind them. So I kept reminding them. I got 50 responses, 4 contracts in 3 months. And next slide, please. I was communicating with people. Things were working for me. I was growing the business. And I tell you, Mumu, they pay. But I was tired of small money. I said, look, the kind of bills that were on my case, I needed to put it up. I needed to do. So I did the power of visualization. Next slide. I put on my wall here, 100 million. That was my target in 1 year. I wrote it on my wall, wrote it on my ceiling, wrote it every part in my toilet. When I sit on the throne, I look at 100 million naira. Listen to me there. When I wake up, that is the first thing I see. When I'm going to sleep, that is the first thing I see. This book of the law shall not depart out of the eyes. If you can see it, if you can think it, you can do it. When there is a will, there's always a way. I became tired of doing small business. Doing small business is a waste of executive time. I went to the social media space. I knew that the money was in maritime. People were talking about the Gulf of Aden. What is Gulf of Aden? People were talking about Gulf of Guinea, Gulf of Guinea. I didn't understand it. But when they talk Lagos, I'll write there. When they talk about Port Harcourt, I'll write. If they talk about Abuja, I'll write. I will always put mouth. At least put mouth. Let them know. Make contact. That community. One day, somebody called me and said, King, I have a contract for you. Can you provide security from Djibouti to Mombasa? I said, yes. I did not know where Djibouti was. I did not know where Mombasa was. I just said, yes. First get it, then find a way to do it. And I did it. That was my law. I began to do those things. And when I communicated, the job there was to do was, I couldn't do it. So I called somebody in Kenya. John, can you do this transaction? He said, yes. I said, but my brokerage fee is 10K, 10%. He said, no problem. Now, within 24 hours, they transferred $150,000 to the man. So the man said I should give him my account. So I gave him my account. So as I was giving him the account, I now picked up my phone, Nokia 3310. That's why I love that phone. I calculated $150,000 times 150. My phone said error, 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 error. It couldn't calculate that kind of number. That was when I said, you don't need money to make money. You need sense to make money. That made me begin to read about these companies. That got me into competitive intelligence. If I see your name like Debola Lagos, I'll read about him, where he goes, what he's talking about. If I see RMD, I Google it, what company, what services. I began to copy them. Your name should not appear on City People, should not appear on Nkomi. Once your name and your picture, I Google you up there. After God is Google, research, study to show yourself, approve. A workman rightly dividing the matter on this person, divide it, gets the matter. That's what I began to follow, and I did that way. So I saw, okay, companies that I should follow. Next slide. There, I now saw G4S. G4S was a security company like mine. And those companies, no, go back. G4S was a security company like mine. At that point in time, they were turning over 7.4 billion pounds, equivalent of 2.59 trillion naira. Next slide. There, they had 57,000 staff. I read their annual report day by day. I stopped playing local league. I started looking for companies that were international. I'm not looking at local, I look for the best in the world. Stop comparing yourself with Nonso, with Christy, with Ngozi. Compare yourself with the best in the world. So I began, because when you begin to look at that level, your own level increases. So whatever they were doing, I did the same thing. Next slide there. I began to provide the same services like that. And that became my first law of success. Next slide. Copy until you become. If I see you are succeeding, whatever you are doing, I want to replicate it. I want to do exactly what you are doing so that I will appreciate. Then I'll tweak it and make something better. Like I said, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, his father said something. They asked him about the oil in this country. He said that my grandfather rode a camel, my father rode a camel. Me, I use a Mercedes. My son uses a Range Rover. His son uses a Range Rover. But that one son will ride the camel. Why? Because oil will fail. Today, oil is failing. So what did they do? Next slide. They began to look at what equity do they have. All that Dubai has is sand. Sand. That's all they have. Sand. He asked them, what do you people see? Someone say barren desert, no water, no plants, dune upon it was just sand. They asked him, what do you see? The question I came to ask is, what do you see? Next slide there. And he said, I see the desert as a national treasure. Sand, national treasure. Do you have sand in Umuahia? Sand, national treasure. Let me show you what they did with this sand. Next slide. I was called to go and speak in Benin, man of God. The ticket says Benin International Airport. So I flew to Benin International Airport. This is Benin International Airport. There are 4 million people there. Now, Benin preceded Nigeria. People know Benin culture before Nigeria. Do you understand me? So if anything about tourism was there, Benin should have been it. Next slide. In 2019, the budget for Benin was presented, and the next slide, that the budget was passed for 183 billion naira. That's the budget for Benin for this state, for this year. Now, 4 million people there. Next slide. This same Okowa is doing 390 billion this same year. Next slide. If you put the two states together, it's Obendel State. Obendel State. So their total budget for 2019 is 584 billion. Now, stay with me. 8 million people. 584 billion naira is their budget. Now, next slide. Dubai. Immigration to go to Dubai. You will pay $140. That is 110 plus a little change to your protocol. Now, if 14.9 million people, they say 16 million people went there this year. Trust me, and they paid $140. So how much did immigration make? Immigration made 806 billion last year. So immigration in Dubai alone can pay the budget of Edo and Delta State for 2 years. Showing people sand. Sand. Next slide. Abia State. You thought I would forgive you? 3 million people in this state, 2.83, and I'm sure they are still born children now. Your budget is 140.207 billion naira. The immigration in Dubai will take care of all of you in this state for 5 years, 9 months, 18 days. Showing people sand, sand, sand. Okay, because they did not have enough land, they created artificial islands in Dubai. And that land, a plot of land is $50 million, equivalent of 5.79 billion naira. How much is land in Abia State? One plot of land in Dubai, one plot of artificial land is created. And the total population of Dubaians in Dubai, next slide, is only 240,000 people. It is not a function of your location. It's a function of your thinkation. Now, in 2017, they said, responding. I read the annual report, and the report, next slide, please. The report says responding to a turbulent year. How did they respond? They responded by carrying 56 million people. Do we have Abia Air? Now, the one that touched me was this particular drink. The last time I came to Owerri, I was going to Abia State. I got to Owerri Airport, and I came out. When I got out, after the airport, I saw boys eating mango. So I took the picture. I was coming from South Africa, man of God. And when I came out, I remembered that at the beach, people were doing lemonade. Lemonade is lemon plus water plus sugar. Now, if 5,000 people were there, and they sold 1,000 cups of lemonade, so that means in one day, they will make 1.827 million a day selling lemon plus water plus sugar. Please tell me what degree you need to have to sell lemon plus water plus sugar. If you're a student here, you are 20 years old, and you are still in your father's house, it's a shame. Because of time, I say, God bless you. Have a fantastic day.